Picture this. You're at a wedding and a song comes on. You know the song, but you haven't thought about it in years. The moment it starts, you're not at the wedding anymore. You're somewhere else entirely. A specific season of your life, a feeling you forgot you had, not a memory you chose, one that chose you. Why does music do this when almost nothing else does? A photograph doesn't. A film sometimes gets close. Even a smell, which bypasses conscious thought almost entirely, doesn't do it with this kind of precision. Music does it reliably, involuntarily, and with an emotional accuracy that feels almost unfair. Science is only now beginning to understand why, and the answer is stranger than you'd expect. In 2011, a neuroscientist named Valerie Salimpoor and her colleagues published a study in Nature Neuroscience that changed how we understand musical pleasure. The findings sound simple at first. Music triggers dopamine release in the brain. Dopamine, the same chemical involved in eating, falling in love, and winning. The same reward circuitry that evolution spent millions of years building to keep us alive. But here's what made the discovery remarkable. Think of your brain's reward system as a happiness factory with two separate workers. The first lives in a region called the caudate nucleus. His job is anticipation. He fires before the best part of a song arrives, when you know the chorus is coming, when you feel the buildup, when your body almost braces for the drop. That tingly electric feeling is him, releasing dopamine before the moment even lands. The second worker lives in the nucleus accumbens. Her job is the payoff itself. The key change, the note that gives you chills, the moment the music finally does the thing you knew it was going to do. She fires at the peak and the dopamine releases again. Two separate workers, two separate moments, two separate hits of the same chemical, and together they create something the brain almost never does with abstract stimuli, a full reward cycle built entirely from organized sound. Food makes sense as a reward. It keeps you alive. Music is just vibrations in the air. It does nothing for your survival. And yet your brain treats it like one of the best things that can happen to you. It hijacked a system evolution built for staying alive and turned it into something that can make you cry in the grocery store. A global study from the University of Uvascula, yes, I practiced that, drawing nearly 2,000 participants across 84 countries, found that our most emotionally resonant music tends to peak at around age 17. Songs heard during adolescence are encoded during a window when the brain is maximally plastic, maximally social, and maximally sensitive to dopamine reward. Every song from that period gets written into memory with unusual depth, not just filed away, branded. I grew up in the 90s. The decade was sonically chaotic in the best possible way. Grunge and hip-hop were fighting for the same airwaves, Nirvana and Tupac, Mariah Carey and Green Day, the Cranberries and No Doubt. MTV was still playing music videos, and TRL was appointment television. But nothing stopped a room quite like MTV Unplugged. There was something about watching artists you thought you knew strip everything down to an acoustic guitar and a microphone. No production, no spectacle, just the song exposed. Nirvana's Unplugged session in particular felt like witnessing something fragile and true, a band showing you something they couldn't say any other way. Songs didn't just have a sound back then. They had visuals, they had cultural weight, they had the specific feeling of being 16 and alive and not yet knowing who you were going to become. I can hear the opening notes of Mariah Carey's Fantasy and be transported back completely, not just the memory, the feeling inside the memory. The specific emotional temperature of being that age, in that moment, in that particular version of myself that no longer quite exists. The Cranberries take me somewhere darker, a specific breakup, a specific kind of grief that felt at 17 like the end of the world. That visceral quality, the way it swells in your chest until it's almost too much to hold, has a name, nostalgia, which is possibly my favorite word in the English language, because it means one thing and 1,000 things at once. Here is where the science becomes slightly unsettling. Every time you recall a memory, you don't retrieve it the way you retrieve a file from a computer. You reconstruct it. You rebuild it from fragments, filter through who you are right now, colored by everything that has happened since, and then you file it away again, slightly altered. Which means you are not remembering the original moment, you're remembering the last time you remembered it. Psychologists call this reconsolidation. Every time a memory is retrieved, it briefly becomes unstable, open to revision, open to contamination from the present. New emotions bleed in, details shift. The story gets quietly rewritten to fit who you are now, what you need now, what you can bear now. It is not a flaw in the system. It is the system working exactly as designed. Memory was never meant to be a perfect record. It was meant to be useful. A 2025 study by Hennessy and colleagues, published in Human Brain Mapping, found that music-evoked nostalgia activates the default mode network, the reward network, the medial temporal lobe, and the supplementary motor regions, more than non-nostalgic but equally familiar music. The brain is doing something categorically different with nostalgic music, not playing back a recording, actively reconstructing an experience and re-encoding it each time. What that means is quietly profound. Nostalgia is not a window into the past. It is a mirror showing you who you are now. The song that takes you back is not taking you back to the real thing. It is taking you back to a version of yourself you have been quietly editing for years. The memory is real, the feeling is real, but the moment itself, frozen exactly as it was, does not exist anymore. It never did. Streaming algorithms have made it easier than ever to live permanently inside your reminiscence bump. Spotify's day list, your Discover Weekly, your liked songs from 2009 serve back to you on shuffle whenever the present moment feels like too much. All of it engineered to keep you in a loop of familiar emotional reward. That is not judgment. The comfort is real and the neuroscience behind it is real, but it is worth asking. When we retreat into the soundtrack of our adolescence, are we resting or are we avoiding? Are we reconnecting with something true about ourselves? Or are we polishing a version of ourselves that was never quite as good as it feels in memory? The question has no clean answer. That might be the point. The songs you are streaming right now are being encoded. This ordinary day, whatever it holds, is being quietly written into the archive. You will not know which moments will matter until years from now, when a song comes on somewhere unexpected and takes you somewhere you forgot you had been. That is not melancholy. That is the brain doing what it has always done, finding meaning in sound and saving it for later. If this made you curious, there's more where this came from. The world is more alive than we remember. I'm Eloquence, and I'll see you in the next one.